Hi YouTubers, here's my project of how I reclaim the space above both garage doors for overhead storage. I've seen lots of videos where people do one row of 4x8 sheets along the front wall, but I wanted all the space above the garage door. So I picked a point above where the garage door mounts to the front of the wall, used 2x2x8 pieces of wood, 3-inch decking screws into each stud. Now this 2x2 I got from Lowe's was on the cheap side, and it's kind of weak wood. Hindsight, I probably should have spent the extra money and used the pressure treated wood, but that was considerably more, and I didn't realize quite how kind of cheap the 2x2s are as far as density and strength. But I think they'll do the job. So did that the whole way around with a level around the garage. Then I used 10-foot pieces of uni-strut found with the conduit, the electrical aisle. I made them flush on each side by using 2 half-inch wide L brackets found in the hardware section, set below the surface of the 2x2s, about 1/8 of an inch I think it was, to make it level. In the middle here I used a joining plate and 4 half-inch screws, you can see in there, to connect the 2 pieces of uni-strut. So since that wasn't flat, I created the little bracket there with the wood and the 4x4 post reclaimed from a deck teardown. And I had used a jack post on the floor. The jack post is over there. But I was going to support it up in the middle and be fine with that. But the middle sagged some. So I decided to go up through the ceiling with 1/2-inch all thread and mask the 1/2-inch all thread with used sections of broken hockey stick. So I'm not using the garage mount here as support, since that's fairly weak. This is, what is it, 23/32 OSB, the high grade OSB with the tongue and groove the whole way across. Now the garage isn't square, so there's a little bit of gapping going on front and back and some of the pieces. Hindsight, I would have started totally at one end and cut them all to length, so every piece had its own tongue and groove the whole way over to, say, the other wall where that was cut flat and straight on the 2x2. I didn't do that, so I have a thin section right here where I had to cut my own groove into a scrap piece, and that piece right there, you know, there's no tongue and groove connection there. So I just used some mending plates, just in 2 sections, to keep that level on the bottom side. Let me turn my lights back on here. Then all around the perimeter I used, I think it's number 8, really long self-tapping drywall screws to put the OSB sheathing into the 2x2. I did not glue the tongue and groove together. I'm fine with it being the way it is. Now you're thinking, these supports here in the middle of each 10-foot long section of uni-strut are kind of annoying and in the way. They are a little bit. I wish they weren't there to slide, say, the cargo rooftop carrier up here. Won't probably fit, but we'll fit enough stuff here. I can make a shelf in another corner for that. But this is nice and strong. Use 2 nuts and a lock washer in between, several washers there sandwiched together, 3 fender washers I think from Lowe's, because they were out of the uni-strut square washers, which I think are 1/4 inch thick. Kind of annoying, but I wasn't gonna go traipsing all around to find the square ones. Make sure they clear the garage door opener. So now that I took that jack post out, since I figured if I'm putting hanging supports over here. I might as well put them in the middle. And we're good to go. Let me crawl up here. Good and solid. Now let me take you up here to access where I put the top supports. I cut a nice access hole here. My roof is 24 inches on center, which is, wish it was 16 for added strength, but it's 24. So what I did was I used 4x4 posts spanning the 24 inch on center rafters. Drilled the 1/2 inch hole, used some construction adhesive underneath the 4x4, and it's not going to move anywhere. The weight's pulling it down, the construction adhesive set real nice, and it is strong. Now hindsight, I'm sharing so other people learn from my activities. I should have figured out what material maybe I wanted to lay up here to get some extra storage space up here in the attic of my garage loft, and set the 4x4 on top of that, because now laying stuff down around it's going to be trickier. And this is just some salvage wood I have loose up here, just to see how it works out, see what I want to do. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to lay out some flooring up here. It doesn't necessarily have to be, 2x4s or 2x6s for strength. I'm not going to put too much up here. Odd thing is, I think this is 2x8, maybe right here, the whole way over towards the house. But then here to the end of the garage, it's 2x4. So I'm going to have to put a 2x4 lip, screw it into this rafter, and then that'll be leveled to put more boards over here for more storage. So I'm going storage crazy. We're going to have a good time. What's really annoying up here is, I guess during construction, they just nail gunned that big long piece across to hold everything together to walk on, I suppose. And that poses a problem. So I wasn't going to rip that up since it's nailed in. Wish it was screwed. Screws are easy to undo. I think hold better. So this piece is crooked, so I can just fit other planks and cut them to the right angle and lengths, or figure out something smarter to do than just doing that. But this post over here is good and square, and I'll put a bunch of something over here, plywood or maybe some kind of reclaimed wood, just to give me some more storage up here, because you don't want to load too much on the back side of the drywall. You'll go right through it. So that's my project of garage overhead storage. I don't think I've seen anything bigger square footage wise. Like I said, I have 5 sheets of 4x8 up here. The one had to be cut down to what, 3.5? 3 3/4 foot. I don't remember. Yeah, I guess it was only a couple inches off. It's almost 5 sheets of 4x8 loft up here. About 26 inches height. So, not really tall space, but we're going to be able to put a lot of all this crap that's on the floor, get some stuff off our porch, decorations, all up here out of the way, what is in what's otherwise very wasted space, and I think it's very secure. I mean, I'm on it now, and you really can't feel anything budge or move. So I think we're good, as long as those crappy 2x2 pieces all along the edges hold up just fine. I think we'll be darn good to go. And hopefully this project might inspire somebody else to do something similar or better. And one more thing, rather than leaving the brackets up here in the corner just being supported by 2 1/2-inch pieces of angle support there. Can you see that? And to boot, it's only 1 screw on each side. No screw even going up into the plywood yet. So that's probably not the strongest support on the edges. I'm probably going to do something else with like a nice L bracket or a shelving bracket attached to the wall to support that uni strut on each end, just to be safe. Even though there's not a stud right there, that'd work out way too easily. But I'll have to bridge where the studs are. You can see the stud screw right there. There's a stud screw right there. So I'll have to bridge that with something to put some kind of shelving bracket up there just to support that. I don't want that, breaking off of there. Even though the screws go well through the 2x4, through the drywall, you shouldn't trust just 2 screws. Oh yeah, I also use construction adhesive on the back side of all the 2x2s the whole way around also. And that's what mess you see here and there. Whole way around. I had a big bulge right here in the drywall. Real sloppy job done whenever this house was built back in 2003. We moved into it 2013. So I basically had to take a little mini sledge and bash in the drywall to get it somewhat level. You can still probably see the bow right there in that piece. You can see that gap up there. Not a huge deal, but it does prevent the end of the plywood from resting as flat as it could be. That's why this piece is a little bit longer. These pieces are 8 feet out. I just had to cut a notch in each end and this notch in the middle here, and that was really tricky to get in place too. 26 inches is just enough to clear to put the piece of plywood up there flat. Don't try to angle it in. Put it flat, raise the far end as far as it can towards the ceiling, then you'll be able to slide it over and get into the groove. There's definitely not enough space to get it crooked and swing it in place. Get it flat up against the front wall, lift that end the whole way up, that'll pull this end in, then you can slide it just past and set it in place. So I think that's all the tips I have for now. But hit like if you like it. That might benefit me monetarily, possibly with the advertisers. Leave any comments or questions, and I'll post if this thing ever comes crashing down, which I'm pretty sure it won't. But reclaim your space in your garage. A lot of surface area there above the garage doors. Cleaned up the back alley here too. It was a mess. Got a bunch of the shelves, HDX shelves, made in America from Home Depot. But there you go. Build yourself some shelves.